Hello, everyone. I'm Judith Peterson, CMO of Cerulean Sky. In today's session of Illuminating Leadership Tools, we sit with DB Wenke, who helps people build their online networking presence via LinkedIn. Let's listen in. Welcome, DB.
I can't wait to get us started and show how to fish LinkedIn with a stick of dynamite. These are these are game-changing suggestions to boost everyone's knowledge with just the power of this pure business platform. And when Microsoft acquired LinkedIn in 2016, it's now integrating those two. The Microsoft 365 has your LinkedIn profile inside it. So, did you know that?
I didn't, but in what scenario, when you're helping your clients, in what scenario are you thinking to yourself, I know how this ends?
Well, I believe that the end is really your beginning because we all suffered through and sacrificed or really propelled through 2020 as a really challenging year. Um, the most important part about anything in a business building mode is that you really have to empower yourself to be open-minded and go through all the phases of job searching, of finding new clients, replacing those clients that went out of business, and that you'll experience that negativity. And it's a phase that may last 2 days, it may last 2 weeks, it may last 2 months. Let it happen, because once you put that into the trash and you can move forward and really get cooking with something that is very, very powerful and will change your direction or just change your business opportunities. So when you travel through these phases, you'll be able to start with that first part, which we just discussed, and then really embrace and empower yourself because you're now in charge. You're not taking directions from anybody else. It's the um, personal effort that you're making.
So to that end, let's dive a little deeper. Why don't you give us an example of something that one of your clients, to your point, are relaunching themselves or transitioning? Um, Give us a tool, because you are pretty much a LinkedIn super user, what I call a super user. Give us a tool that you think would be helpful to someone um, who is making a transition, because when I started to learn about you, I think you have a real deep understanding and empathy for people that are going through transitions, and helping people.
Well, it's really, first of all, you have to be accountable to a daily regimen that is going to work for your particular situation. And that accountability can actually be and what I do with some of my clients is I will really work through how to identify the top 10 companies that you want to work for and begin to pursue that energy, that positive energy, because you now have a journey and a path that you've set out for yourself. And now your business day is really dedicated to making that really come together for those top 10 employers or looking into different industries. Another way is to really make it through the phases is to be objective with the setbacks that you're going to experience. They're life lessons, they're professional life lessons, and they're not going to knock you out of the box. They're simply just going to maybe singe you a little bit, like a flame on your finger, but it's not permanent. And then really take the time to celebrate the small successes and large successes. If you're able to network consistently and build your own network of connections with strategic partners that should be inside your LinkedIn network, celebrate that, reward yourself with however that would look.
So let's do a deeper dive into that. When you're helping clients navigate, you mentioned networking. I think for a lot of people, for some reason, this is very overwhelming and intimidating. Talk, give a little context and kind of paint the picture for us. How do you help frame that for clients so it's not so overwhelming?
Well, there are a couple of tools that we'll jump into in a moment, but many individuals used to be part of associations, do an annual conference, attend a networking meeting, get together for lunch, dinner, whatever it was. And now that doesn't really exist as an option. And networking happens online as easily as it did at that national conference. You are going to use keywords and you're going to find individuals that you want to invite into your network. You want to get those individuals responding to your personalized message. And then that networking begins because you have a plan and that daily regimen of connecting with 10 people, for instance. And then next week, you would come back and send a note to those 10 people, should they have accepted your invite. And generally speaking, a bare invitation, meaning just sending a connection request, has a 60% chance of being accepted by the recipient. So you go back a week later and try to schedule a brief conversation over Zoom or just by phone so that your networking is still the same skills, but you're simply using an online platform that's purely business like LinkedIn.
That's a great, it's interesting the way that you talk about networking and what the message is, right? Because that to me is your personal go-to-market strategy, defining your target audience, segmenting your target audience, and really kind of what is the positioning, this so what, who cares? So what,
And it's really building out your brand in an online forum so that you're consistent in your messaging, you're consistent with who you're networking with, and we'll dive into that a little bit later.
Great. So now you've laid the groundwork. You have the foundation for your clients. What now that you've helped them get their online presence and help them define this, what's one of the next couple of things that you work with them on in the process so that people understand when they're working with you, what does a project look like, right? What are the pieces? You've laid some of the groundwork, but let's keep going because it's really fascinating.
So from start to finish, personally, I don't think there ever is a finish because what you're doing is you're really establishing your thought leadership. So you want to be continuing on some of the things I'm going to show you. So we're going to use that stick of dynamite, and because many people don't understand the silent rollouts that happen by the LinkedIn engineers, so that they're hunting for something that they really can't find. So up here in the top left dialog box, I am really interested in human resource managers. That's really what I want. And you can see that I didn't use caps. I'll still be able to get that. So I'm searching the entire database for human resource managers. And you can see that it's just self-correcting. You can see that there are 6 million results of individuals who are in this field. But what's really important for us is that you have this all filters to it's the second menu bar below the one that you're very comfortable seeing. And you can use all filters to show exactly all this information, which starts with row 1 of who's my first level of connections.
Oh, so in case you want an introduction, got it.
Yeah. So if you want introduction, but let's just kind of parse through here and see that I can search for a number of different filters. So not only can I do the United States, but I can also do another country. And if I want to relocate, because my industry has really moved to Texas based upon business business prospecting or job searching, I can look at companies and look through the human resources manager as my keyword and search one of these companies, or just type in Under Armour, for instance, or Unilever. We could do that. So there's a way to use all of this, and the previous company here is very valuable for someone who is about to do an interview with a current employer, and we can talk to those individuals who have left the company to get at the the really interesting things like their culture, what the hot trends are in the company, uh, what the what the reporting structure looks like. We can search by industry. So if I want to do Under Armour and that's my search, I don't really want to choose an industry because that's really athletic apparel. And I can also search. I can also search on languages. If I'm looking for a bilingual individual, I can search by their undergraduate or graduate university. So there's a lot of information here. And then, of course, I can put in this last row, row 4, offers first name, last name, title. So I can do a search based upon all these different constraints to find, for instance, those individuals who are uh, at Under Armour in the United States, and I could really take this even smaller to their headquarters in Baltimore. So now I have individuals. This Glenn Rosen is an individual that potentially could be a quick conversation about the company or just about human resources um, information that I'm curious about, because I'm also in this field, or I'm searching to move from. A lot of marketing individuals will move into HR, and a lot of HR individuals may move into some other marketing capacity, because their soft sciences, their soft skills that are needed for both of those. So I now have an opportunity to take a look at 181 individuals, which still is a little bit large. So I might go into what will define as my second degree. Those would be individuals that are not in my personal network, but they would be available as an introduction. So
That's great. So you're basically seeing these individuals that you work with frame their target market. That's
yes,
amazing.
yes. So now I was just south of 200. Now I'm just south of 10. So these are individuals that I have a number of, and you can see who knows whom, and I could go to either one of these individuals, because the reason why you network and have conversations with those individuals inside your network is I can just shoot a quick message and ping Deborah and ask her about this individual. I can ask her if she'd be willing to make an introduction. And if she's willing to make an introduction, I need to give her the justification as to why it's beneficial to Susan to get it introduced to me. So
That's great.
you want to have a bit of a hook, which might be something to the effect of, there are lots of platforms within the human resources space. And with those platforms, there may be some rollouts that increase the cost of doing business, because it's adding more seats to the platform, it's adding more tools within the platform. So it could be a payroll question, it could be your bonuses, or you're asking information that's relevant and relative to Susan Berry. So that's one way to build out your network. Another way to do so is to go to your connections. So my network is right here. So when I click on my network, it brings up this whole menu bar of individuals that are in my network right here. And I can search this by last name. I can search by this dialog box here, or voila, here is the second menu bar with all filters so that I can look through, for instance, and if I take one of my contacts, which is Kristen Pressner, and I'm going to look at Kristen's network of people that we share as first level connections, or because I'm prospecting or I am job searching, I'm going to take a look at Kristen's network. And what Kristen has in her network, at people that I don't know, are about 100 individuals. So I could add even more filters to make this valuable for what I'm trying to accomplish.
That's fantastic.
So that's kind of a quick, couple clicks down, and we're in the all filters section. And then another way to do this is to search your university. And it so happens that I attended Northwestern. What comes up here is the LinkedIn company page. But look at this on the left margin, on the left rail, are the alums who went to Kellogg. And what this populates is a way for me to search again for that human resources manager. Sorry, I'm spelling here. So I'm looking now, and if you want to make it a contemporary, somebody who's been in the business field, you may want to make it, for instance, 1995. Someone who's got some real experience, and you can network it with alum from your alma mater. So with the 14,000 that have claimed to have attended that university, I now can search this for human resources manager, and you'll see what comes up. And what you'll see is here we have an individual that is a senior vice president, CHRO, chief human resources officer, and she and I share 5 connections. So I could invite her into my network and then begin to have a dialogue with her at some point. And then potentially I want to find who works at Google. So now I'm taking this to another level, which has 600 alum that work at Google and are human resources manager. And what you can see here is that the left margin, or this left dialog box, shows domicile, but the right dialog box shows where they work. So I can look at a glance and see these individuals. And then at the very bottom, Kathleen comes up again, Thomas comes up again, and these are individuals that fit the constraints of human resources manager and alumni and Google.
Wow.
So these are ways to not, the mistake that a lot of LinkedIn members make is they'll use only this top dialog box, and they'll reach a search limit, which is one of the ways that LinkedIn is attempting to upsell you to another level of membership, a paid subscription, if you will. So if you use some of these tools, you're able to really build out your network quickly.
That's great, DB. That is really helpful for people trying to understand and get the building blocks for building out their network, starting to have conversations, and navigating where they'd like to pivot to.
And one of the beautiful aspects of this, we encourage this when I'm doing a workshop or a LinkedIn session with a company or with an individual as they're trying to either prospect for new business, or on the other hand, maybe trying to find a job. Um, you know, there are a lot of people out of work, and if they can go through the phases and make themselves accountable to somebody else, or make themselves accountable to a spreadsheet or to some CRM that they may have been able to keep from work, or that they downloaded a free version. But here I'm looking for information that I could potentially put in a thought comment. So for instance, here is an individual who's in the marketing space using data analytics and artificial intelligence to predict how consumers will respond on a line extension. So I'm going to just maybe read this article, and then I'm going to comment. And the reason why you want to comment is that it brings up, and I'll show you how this, I'm not going to put in a comment, but let's just say that I post this. Look what happens. Not only is my photo in that comment, my name is in that comment, and my title, my headline is in that comment. It's valuable because that gives me some promotion that I'm making an intelligent remark, but I'm doing something that shows my expertise, and that begins to help with a recruiter looking at your activity. So if we jump to that, and again, I'm not sure that this is easy enough to see, but if a recruiter wants to know what I've done and what I've commented on, here is all my activity. So that recruiter can go just a little bit deeper into my background beyond what's shown in my LinkedIn profile, and see my comments. It so happens that this the wisdom for 2021 is you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
That is I'm sorry to give you, sorry for interrupting you. That's a great quote.
Well, it's inspirational, it's aspirational, it's motivational. It's that, 2020 is in the rearview mirror. And a lot of us had, major impact, and really just, put your put one foot in front of the other and make yourself accountable to a daily regimen. If you are either prospecting to build out your business because you were hurt with the pandemic, or your own job searching.
That's great. I'm gonna close for now. DB, thank you so much. We will hopefully resume with more tips and tools from DB. And I think that's a great place. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. DB, thank you.
My pleasure.